Others would be all right with any decisions she made and what was going to happen. And it takes me back to those three words I used at the beginning of our Mass: love, compassion, and service. The first reading began, the souls of the virtuous are in the hands of God. But what is it to be virtuous? None of us, of course, is perfect. But a life of faith requires us to live as closely as possible to the example that Christ has given us, both in his personal life and his own words that he leaves behind for us. And two passages struck me particularly when I was reflecting on Anne's life. And the first one we see on the part of the Stations of the Cross, on the wall here, which is the story of Jesus going to his own death, Jesus' own passion. On his way, he meets the women of Jerusalem. And rather than being caught up in his own concerns and his own passion, he speaks to them and consoles them about their own lives, what may happen to them in their own lives. And rather than reflecting on himself, what he's concerned about is their personal needs, his compassion for them. The second one, which won't surprise you, I think, is the Good Samaritan. A parable that the Pope used recently in a letter when he's trying to exhort us on how to live our lives with each other, those our neighbour. The quality we see again in that Good Samaritan is his compassion for others. When people you would expect to look after somebody don't, he's the one, contrary to all that others would expect, he's the one who steps in and does all that he can for the care of that person, the man who's been beaten up. Any social, financial, or other things that might stand in his way, he sees as absolutely nothing. He simply sees the needs of the wounded man, and he goes to his help, regardless of anything else. He puts himself out of his own way, regardless of what people around him would think. And it's these sort of examples that Jesus gives us of how we should live our lives. And it struck me that Anne, in her general life, and in the type of work, especially in the nursing that she chose, she lived in just such a way. If we do live in this way, then we discover Christ in our lives, but perhaps more particularly we discover Christ in those around us, which can be a revelation to us as well. And what this does, it brings a light and a joy into our lives, which affects and touches those around us as well, and makes us stand out in a particular way. It is a way, in a sense, of us preaching his message without the need to use any words. This, I think, is what it is to be virtuous. And in our Gospel today, which Jesus delivers just before his own death, and when he's concerned about his apostles, his new community that he's going to have to leave behind without him, he talks about his care for them too when he dies, and when they die, rather. This compassion of his again at work. It's not only that he's letting them and us know that he has a very loving plan for us in this very diverse heaven, made up of very different people, this place of many rooms. But at the centre of this plan, the centre of all our lives, he's saying, I am there. I am there at the centre of your lives. And he says to us, he has prepared a place for each one of us, thought of each one of us, and when the time is right, if we want it, he will come and guide us to that place. And it's no wonder that this is a popular gospel, because he talks about his love for us, and at the same time, it has a great sense of hope in it as well. Both our readings do, in fact. What they're saying to us, even in this moment of great distress, our faith tells us that though it is hard for us to feel it today, it is a moment of great hope as well. And I have no doubt that Anne lived her life in that trust and in that hope that Jesus was always with her, especially in those she met and those she loved and those she served. And what we do today as we pray for her, as she meets Jesus, we do that knowing that she will never leave behind her care for all those she loves still. And one thing that our faith is absolutely sure of is that the love we share in this life, that love never dies. Onya's going to come and speak.
Okay. I want to tell you some stories about my best friend. Most of you will know her as Anne, Annie, Bridget Ann, Vivian, or of course Auntie Annie. But to me, my best friend was called Mum. Although for some reason, when I was about 8 years old, after seeing a funny moo cow on the TV, I started calling her Moo, and that's stuck ever since. My Mummy Moo. Mum was born in Rotherham to a very loving Irish family from Apple Island. My grandparents, Mary and Eamon, welcomed her into the world on the 3rd of February 1962. Mum was one of 6. It goes John, Anne, Barbara, Jacqueline, Michael and Anthony. John was in the year above Mum at school, and by the sounds of it was known to be a little bit cheeky. So, when teachers heard Mum was also a Kilban, they were waiting for Mum to rebel in a similar way. Obviously, the day never came, as Mum was a very sensible student, eventually going on to be one of the head girls. Despite her head girl status, Mum absolutely loved fun and mischief. My Auntie Barbara can vouch for this, as she was the next born after Mum. Therefore, became her accomplice in all activities. Mum always blessed Auntie Barbara with the job of telling Grandma when something went wrong. An example that sticks in my mind is when Auntie Jacqueline was just a toddler and got her little knee stuck in a railing as she practiced gymnastics with her older sisters. Amidst the panic and the fire sirens, my mum told Auntie Barbara, "You should go and get Mum, and I'll wait here with Jacqueline." I think she knew what Grandma's reaction was going to be. Mum was adored by her parents and adored them just as much. She wanted to help them as much as she could, so she took her role as being the older sister very seriously, and in her mind that role never stopped. Throughout adulthood, she always looked out for the needs of her siblings, trying her best to help in whatever way she could. When Mum got a little bit older and began her nurse training, she sometimes worked nights. At this point, the younger siblings were still in school, and due to her mischievous nature, she took great pleasure in waking up Auntie Jacqueline, Uncle Michael, and Uncle Auntie for school as she arrived home from a night shift. And her method of getting them to rise, her stinky night shift sock under each of their noses. A big part of Mum's upbringing was spending a lot of time over in Apple visiting her beloved grandmother. Here she helped clean the tractors, gathered the turf, and made potions with her sisters, all while doing her favourite thing, being out free and in nature. This love for Apple is something that Mum, my aunts and uncles, and my grandparents have passed down to my cousins and I. We have all shared such special memories together there, and I know we will cherish them forever. Anytime we feel the fresh apple air on our face, we will all think of Mum. Mum's love for nature that was born and bred in Apple developed into a passion for travelling in her early adulthood. She conquered a lot of the world, pretty much getting around all of Europe, but the Greek islands in particular stole a piece of her heart. Some of her bigger trips involved Sri Lanka, Kenya, and Canada. She always thought it was important to get out and see the world, and was never happier than when she could hear the crashing waves of the sea. Eventually, Mum moved to Guernsey and met my dad in 1985. My dad can still remember so clearly the first time he ever saw Mum. She was just off the plane with her swanky shoulder-pad blazer, fiery hair, and Hollywood smile. She was going to work at the same hotel as Dad. His first worry was that she was going to be too tall for him. But lucky for Rick, she was just wearing heels, and a few weeks later he asked her out, and she said yes. The rest, as they say, is history. In between being a nurse, Mum experimented with many different careers, such as hotel receptionist, waitress, and a very short stint as an air hostess. Turns out the turbulence made her travel sick, so she decided to stick with nursing. Mum always spoke of her decade in Guernsey with a big, beautiful smile on her face. During this time, there were countless parties, and as Mum thrived off socialising, she was always there to light up the room of each event. Everyone knew Mum as being part of the Omega-3, along with her friends Sarah and Alan, who lived in the same building. They are now all together again, and I know they will be having a big old party up there, drinking their special punch. 10 years after meeting, Mum and Dad got married, and when they took their vows, they really and truly meant every word. The dynamic of my Mum and Dad is something that I will always cherish, as it is my first example of what love should look like. It's a friendship filled with laughter, and they really did laugh together. Dad cared for Mum in many ways, especially in the past few years as her illness worsened. But Mum also cared and looked after Dad in different ways too. She was always so wise and moral, so there was absolutely no way my dad could ever do a shortcut around any task with Mum as his guide. I was born in Guernsey in July 1995. We moved back to England in January 1996 and temporarily lived with my Aunt Christine and Uncle Brian. These were where some of my earliest memories were formed, and when I push myself back to think as far as I can, most memories contain my mum's smiling face and lots of laughter. Eventually my parents settled here in Kendal in 1997. Mum had got a nursing job and would go on to work at the hospital on Ward 8 until her illness caused her to retire in 2010. I always like to say that being a nurse didn't define Mum. Mum defined what a nurse should be. These are some of the qualities a nurse should possess. Empathy. Mum was one of the most empathetic people I've met, forever putting others before herself. Attention to detail. With Mum, there were no shortcuts. Everything should always be done by the book. Endurance. This is the big one. I have never known anyone to endure more suffering, but still paint a big, beautiful smile onto her face, out of her own worry that her suffering might cause us pain. I could retell a lot of my own personal stories with Mum, but for me, every moment was special, and I cherish every one. So rather, I'll try my best to explain the way I saw her through my eyes. She was my biggest protector. If there was a way to make my life easier in any way, she would find it and she would do it. She was my biggest fan. I spent my teen years and early 20s training and pursuing acting. She always encouraged me, but never applied any pressure and soothed me if auditions went wrong. She gave me unconditional love. It's a blessing to have felt the love that I felt for 28 years of my life. It's something I hope I can now replicate out into the universe and eventually children of my own, because I was so lucky to have the best mother in the world as my coach. She had a magic skill to be able to relieve all my troubles with just one hug. But most of all, she was and she always will be my best friend. She often referred to me as the yin to her yang. I could see the joy she felt when I came home with silly stories from uni, or where I'd been travelling with my friends. The silver lining in all of this heartbreak is that now Mum will be there with me, watching me be silly in the city and guiding me around my travels, always keeping me safe and on the right path. I'm going to wrap this up now, but I want to finish by saying that nothing I can say up here can describe what a woman my mum was, or how much she loved and was loved in return. But I'm hoping if you look around the room at those close to her, you'll be able to feel the love that she gifted us with. Thank you.
For Auntie Annie, who has died with faith and trust as a believer, Lord, we beg that you accept her gentle soul, love and take care of her with the knowledge of the God and caring life she led. Lord, hear us. Lord, we thank you for Auntie Annie's life and the joy, happiness, thoughtfulness and love that she gave to us all. Like your teachings, her example is to be followed. Lord, hear us.
We pray for Auntie Annie's loved ones, Uncle Rick, Anya, our Mum and Grandad, and all her family and friends. May they be comforted and consoled by each other and the Lord, as this would be Auntie Annie's wish. Lord, hear us. Lord, Auntie Annie worked as an NHS nurse for many years, caring for people who need care. We ask you to remember this, but also that you continue to guide and watch over NHS colleagues, particularly Dr. Eaton's team, who cared for Auntie Annie when she needed them most. Lord, hear us.
We remember that Auntie Annie is always fun to be with and around. We will forever have happy memories of her and those special times. We will forever have happy memories of her and those special times. For this we are truly thankful, Lord. Lord, hear us. We ask the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God, and Comforter of the morning, to intercede that Auntie Annie is all. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
And as we do so, we'll sing our